What I thought I'd do today is actually share with you my initial investor profiles, and then more importantly, talk about what I've learned to date running this 6 and 20 program. As always, we'll go through the goals. So actually going to break down the profile of the first 6 investors who have decided to participate. Talk about the lessons learned after talking to them, investing some of their capital, and other investors I've spoken with. Talk about where I go from here, because I really see a clear path going forward, and then talk about what's next. All right, with that, we'll get started. So investor 1 happens to be an individual I've known for, I think, well over 20 years. We were working together in the late 90s and have worked together many different times. He's an executive in the high-tech space and really has no time, right? Constantly traveling, worldwide responsibilities, family life, just time is, the ultimate constraint. He actually has a goal to be retired in a couple of years. I actually added the 2 through 4 years, so I hope he doesn't get mad at me. But he understands that cash flow is something that's key to him. This individual happens to have a lot of capital, is making investments in different areas, and decided to commit just shy of $500K to the 6 and 20 program. By just shy, I mean exactly $495 is what added up to the 6 different deals that we participated in together. And then, interesting enough, he's liked the remodel so much and again knows his retirement goals. Has actually decided after revisiting and seeing some of the remodels that he's actually just going to buy them. So he's going to take his 20% profit, put it into the deal, thus lowering the total cash he needs to bring to the table. And he's very excited about what's going on because, again, time is his constraint. Investor number 2, someone I've known for over 3 years. Again, executive in high tech. I live in the Valley, so my network's pretty full of that. We've actually discussed real estate pretty much since we started knowing each other. He has some investments in other areas and was really intrigued by what I was doing even 3 years ago. Big constraint for him, given how much as he travels, is again learning a new market. This individual actually, I think, has just moved or is in the process of moving, and that whole family turmoil and all those things. It's just tough. And I'm really understanding that time is such a factor, and maybe something I didn't appreciate before. This individual is committed just under $250K in the program, and it's over 2 different deals. This is actually an investor, unlike number 1, who's going to be buying the units. This is the first investor I looked forward to recycling his capital. We're actually, one of the units he's on, I actually look forward to selling in August, which then would free up that capital, giving him a chunk of cash extra for the 20%, and then he's already committed to doing it again. So that's what I call recycling capital. This is something I really built this program on. Investor 3 is again someone I've known for a long time, 20 years. We actually worked together again in the late 90s. Again, executive in high tech. We've discussed real estate as far back as 20 years ago. Didn't make a move back then, just for whatever reason. And he's actually committed to I think just over 250K across 2 deals, 260 I believe is the total. In addition, this individual just picked up his first set of rentals this year, so I'm very proud of him. Something I thought that was interesting when we talked first was, first he has a nice pile of cash, good for him. But what he thought was interesting is he didn't want to rush in deploying his capital. So he actually recommended that, hey, help me purchase my first one, and then what he wanted to do was take a set of that cash and put it in this program at least for the first year. So he learns the rental game, being a landlord, and then uses his capital to raise his cash. So I thought that was a genius idea. He had it and brought it to me. I thought it was very smart. Investor number 4 is actually someone I've known for the shortest, just over 2 years. This is also the first individual on the list that's on the East Coast. The first 3 were on the West Coast. All 3 were in California. One south, 2 northern. This one actually is on the East Coast. He's actually very interested in learning his market or markets around him, but he understands, given his job and his constraints, that he won't be able to do that due diligence until at least 6 months. So again, what he thought he would do, which again was his idea, was he would commit some capital to the program to do at least one, to participate in one flip. So he's committed $80K. I'm actively looking for properties for this individual. The reason is I won't pool capital, right? So some of the deals I found, like one for investor number 3 was 160K, just for example. And because I won't pool capital, I won't take 80 from here and 80 from there. I need to find a deal that makes sense just for investor number 4. So I'm actively doing that and making offers every week. Investor number 5 is actually interesting. It's actually the friend of investor number 1 I've known for a while. She's done a good job of socking away cash. She thinks the stock market is risky. She's got some cash in an IRA, individual retirement account, and wants to participate. She's ready to commit $89K and is ready to deploy. I am actively looking for an investment, and again, like before, I won't pool capital, so I need to find an investment that makes sense for investor number 5. And then the last one that just had a conversation, I think it was this week, might have been last week. Again, someone I've known for a while, has actually spent a bunch of time looking at my videos and actually read my book, which I was really happy about. He actually read it in less than 2 days, which I don't know, gave me a good feeling. It means it kept his interest. So I thought that that felt good. He knows that he needs to find a way to leverage his cash because he has some goals in the near future around retirement and all of that. So he's excited. His family and wife actually have contacts in real estate. So he thinks this is some way he can get experience and then take it out on his own. Has committed verbally to right around 125K. And again, like investor 4 and 5, I'm actively looking for opportunities that make sense. So what have I learned? I knew time was a huge constraint, but I don't think I appreciated just how much time is a constraint, given the busy lives and travel and all of that. There's actually probably more cash out there than I appreciated, just sitting there in silly money market accounts. And my friends and family have been watching what we've been doing for 15 years, and they want to participate. They didn't really know how they could, right? They saw what Olivia and I did, but now this program, this 6 and 20 program, gives them the opportunity to participate, and many of them look forward to helping as well. It's not lost on them that they would be helping, but it's also for them to participate and leverage this capital in short durations. I have to keep this program investor friendly. What I mean by that is I'm never going to pool money, right? There'll only be a first trust deed. Take verbal commitments. What I mean by that is, we'll just talk, and if you're interested, you give me a number where you're comfortable. And just like investors 4, 5, and 6, we'll find, I'll try to find a deal that fits in your umbrella. And if it doesn't, then nothing happens. I've got to keep the program goal less than a year. Really try to shoot for less than 6 months. But I'm, again, I like to protect the downside. So I said a year is everybody's expectation. The first 2 that are done were less than, I think one was 3 and one was 4 months. I think there's one that will be coming up that's 5 months. But the idea is less than a year, regardless. And then again, frankly, be generous, right? Give up 20% or 1/5 of the profit. They're coming in with something, so give back. And then there's lots of other things, like I send out a monthly quick summary about what I'm trying to do and all of that. So when in doubt, keep the program investor friendly. The other thing I'm starting to notice is friends and family are starting to share this program with their friends and family. And again, if I wasn't surprised before about time constraints and people's interest, frankly, it does. It warms my heart to see that people like what we're doing, respect us enough to make introductions to their friends and family. Got to keep over communicating, whether it's this video series, whether it's Facebook, whatever it is. I just need to keep putting it out there because, again, everybody's busy and you get such small windows of time to catch people. So keep over communicating and having phone conversations and going to lunches and all of that. A big pile of cash for somebody who's in their high income earning years is really wasteful, right? There's this, I don't know what you want to call it, a decade or 15-year period where you're making the maximum income. And, frankly, you don't need that big pile of cash just sitting there, right? You're long past having a rainy day fund and all these other things. But you also have these big expenses in the future, right? Whether that's retirement or whatever. So if you can help people spend that capital every 6 to 12 months and give them a nice return, you're going to keep people interested. The other thing I've come to realize is that I don't want to get this thing too big. I don't want to make it too unwieldy. So I'm going to set a maximum investor account. I'm currently thinking that maximum number is 25. And how I got there is my goal is to turn capital for them twice a year, right? So like investor number 2, where we're about to sell one, I'd like to reuse that capital in another investment. So, that really means I need to have 25 investors, flip. And if I can do 50 flips a year, that means that, equals 2. So I don't see going above that number. Now, those will have to be active investors in the program, right? Not just, for example, I think investor number 1, if they just wanted to buy their 6 and then we're not recycling capital, right? After those 6 are done, then he wouldn't be considered active. Certainly love to do something going forward. I'm sure we will with him. But that's just an example. Or maybe it's investor number 4, I think it was, that has committed 80K and is looking out on the East Coast. They only want to do it once. Great. I'd love to help him and continue to help him learn his market. But that's the idea. So I got to keep it at 25. Don't want to get any bigger than that. And again, I said this just now, but I want to see myself turning people's capital twice a year, right? If I can do that, I'm fairly certain, given what we've done to date, that I will help my friends and family earn more than 10% on their capital. It's very secure, trust deed, all that stuff. So I think this will make them very happy and by happenstance make me very happy as well. So, I got to continue to make sure those first investors are wildly successful. The first 2, as we've already documented in a previous video, were very successful. I expect the next ones to be equally so. I got to find deals for investor 4, 5, and 6. It's important that everybody participates. If they're willing to give me that commitment, I need to come through, and it's not lost on me that I still need to help certainly investor 4 and 5 if they've given me commitments well over 30 or 60 days. Investor number 6 is brand new, but I need to come through. I look forward to recycling capital, right? This is something that the program was built on. So, investor 2 and 3, we come out of this and you've profited X or Y amount. We're going to just, hopefully do it again together. I'm very excited for my friend, investor number 1, who's deciding to grow his rental pool. It was his idea to take his 20% profit, apply it to the price, and lower it, which I think is a great move. Reduces his out-of-pocket cash, reduces taxes, all those things. So I'm very excited for him and what he has for his future. I need to find additional investors. I'd ideally like to see commitments go up, right? Finding deals at 80 or 89K is just tough. Not impossible, just tough. So I'd like to see those commitments maybe average closer to 200. And again, like investor 2 and 3, maybe that ends up being across 2 deals. It's not meaning that one deal is going to be that expensive, but I just need to know that there's some room to make sense. Like I've highlighted, I'm selling 2 properties actually this month, actually this week, frankly, probably today or tomorrow when they should record. I'm targeting selling 3 in August and at least 3 in September. So I need to keep that process going. And then just because I think it's so important and I feel bad, I need to really find something for investor 4 and 5. I think investor 4 was a very early commitment. I think I've been looking for something for relatively 90 days, and I need to come through. And again, I know this bullet's a repeat from the second bullet above. It's just something that I need to do. I need to come through for investor 4 and 5. All right, so what's next? I just need to continue doing what I'm doing, sharing the goodness with friends and family. I'd like to identify the next 5 to 8 investors. That's just makes it so I can keep making offers and feel good about recycling capital and all of that, right? When you get to the end here and I only have those smaller commitments, it makes it tough because I can only offer on certain segments of the market. Must focus on making the current investments and investors very happy via the return. So I need to finish these sales in July, get those 3 in August, and just keep recording the goodness. And then I need to also work on the ins and outs of the program to see if it could support 50 flips a year, which would be the 25 investors, 2 flips or 2 turns a year. So looking to get to 20 this year, but I have to be thinking longer term, with 50 flips being the goal for 2019. I think we have 12 in flight today, with 2 being totally complete either today or tomorrow. So that's what's next for the program. So with that, do me a favor, hit like if you happen to like this video. Ask me a question if you have a question below about the investors or anything. Please subscribe to the channel. I think we're still at 102 last time I checked. And there's my email. Lastly, do me a favor and forward this video around if you have friends and family that you think might like it, as I am looking for those investors in my friends and family network to see if anyone else might be interested. All right, have a great day.